Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight on I'm in Auckland. It is a beautiful day out there today. It was a bit of a scorcher. Probably should have put some sunblock on the nose. As you can see, a nice red nose to celebrate tonight's webinar. But thank you everybody for jumping in and joining me tonight on, interesting topic. And a fascinating topic in the current climate as to what we're all going through and seeing all the shifts and the changes that are happening within New Zealand and within the property market. And what strategies can we look to implement in the current market, which certainly is a fascinating space for us to be working in. So looking forward to having you all along tonight as we work through that all. And I can see more and more people rolling in, so I'm just going to make the wonderful Carol the co-host so she can let everybody in for me. And once again, welcome. Let's check that the chat is working. First of all, can you jump in the chat? First, let me know, can you hear me? Secondly, it'd be really cool to hear where everybody is joining us from tonight. That's the great thing about this virtual space. I know that we're, for many years, we've been presenting education and usually to a room of people. And now, over the last few years, we've come to the opportunity to be able to present virtually and be able to connect with people all around New Zealand and Australia, which is really, really cool. And we can see there, Whangarei coming in from Carol, got Christchurch, Auckland from Nick. He sent that as a direct message. Thank you. More Aucklanders, lots of Aucklanders. Maybe we could have, Sydney, there we go. Very good. And from Wellington. That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for jumping in tonight. Like I said, what is a fascinating little topic to talk through. And the interesting thing is, all the way from the UK, brilliant, Tanil. The interesting thing about the New Zealand property market right now is there's so many fundamentals that are in play. And what I'm going to give you today is information in regard to the market. But what I'm not going to be able to share with you guys is exactly what's going to happen. Because you know what? It's not something that we can just work towards and know, because at the end of the day, it's about taking all the fundamentals so that we can figure out a best plan for you as an individual to get ahead as an investor. So once again, thank you for joining me. So I didn't even introduce myself. My name is Jono, and I will be presenting to you guys tonight. And this is exactly what I will be talking through over the next hour or so. First of all, is what we read in the media true? And well, probably part of it, but how they've twisted some of the comments or ideas to make it a little bit of clickbait. So we'll talk a bit about that. How to assess your investment, a little bit of spelling there, how to assess your investment and make sure that you are buying the right types of property, key indicators within the market, things that are happening in the market, what are we seeing in different spaces, and then strategies for the market. Because every market, the needs or requires different strategies, also depending on your personal situation. Because we're seeing different cycles going through, we want to be able to work through that. And I'm going to give you guys a few ideas around that one for sure. And then probably my favorite is I get to show you some current examples. I'm going to be showing you 3 deals, as well as I'm going to talk through 2 deals on top of that, which are students of ours that I've spoke to just today that are working through. So I'll give you some details on that later on today. I wanted to bring that to you as well. Don't have any pictures for you, but I definitely have some information for you to share in that space. And then how you can continue to grow and become the best investor that you can become as you push forward and become or achieve the financial future that you desire from property. Because everybody's financial future within property is going to be slightly different. And that's something I want you to really consider. Because I bet you that, for example, Cadby on here right now, Carol, you all have different ideas around where you want to get your investing to. For myself as well. So it's a matter of understanding exactly how you're going to get to that eventual goal. But a lot of it comes down to who you are as an individual. For me, I'm very much about my family. I love actually doing deals where my family's involved. For those of you that caught a webinar that I did just about a week ago, my kids are on site deciding on color choices. The day I settle on the property, my daughter's outside getting photos inside of the sold sign. Involving the family, I think, is really important because you're educating, and the knowledge that you can pass on to families is pretty amazing indeed. For those that don't know me as well, I did actually start my investment journey in probably the most bizarre place that you can ever imagine, and that is jumping on a reality TV show where we bought and renovated and sold a house, kind of like The Block, for those of you that saw our first home. It was a really cool concept of what it really gave me the inspiration for is going, why am I a tennis coach earning this much for this many hours when I can create a much better life for me and my family by using property as a vehicle, as an investment? And that was a determining factor for me in shifting careers. As I said before, I was a tennis coach in previous life. Absolutely love it. And that's why I love coaching in this space, because I do love the ability to be able to share the knowledge with people, which is what I was able to do within tennis. Gone on to become the head of property at Wealth Mentor, and we've got many great investors that I mentor alongside. Some of the mentors have actually been in the game a lot longer than me, and that there brings knowledge that we can share with our students and our stuff I'll be sharing with you guys now, which is really, really powerful. My own investing has been going for a number of years now, and very proud to be able to share the knowledge with you guys, as it's not just been in the last couple of years where, to be honest, and this might hurt a couple of people's feelings, anybody could have been a property investor in the last 2 years. Anybody. It wasn't hard. Buy a property, went up in value. But right now, it is very important to have the knowledge behind you. And those that have understood what the markets can do and understand the knowledge to be able to make the right decisions are the ones that are going to actually benefit hugely, because right now, to be honest, is a huge opportunity. And lastly, and most important, probably most importantly, is I do love my sport, big sports fan. Obviously coming from a tennis background, love playing golf and a few other bits and pieces myself, and do love jumping on the barbecue as well. Now, for those of you that were listening and paying attention on my intro, I told you that I wasn't going to be able to give you exactly what is going to be happening in the property market, but I'm going to give you some key ideas that I think may happen. And this is gold, guys, getting the opportunity from somebody who's been in the game for a couple of years as to what's going to happen. Now, first of all, what we could see in the next couple of months, years, is the property market go down. Well, the interesting thing is actually probably could go up, or it could stay the same. Now, this is just a bit of a joke, because what the idea is that we don't necessarily know exactly what's going to happen. What we can do is we can look at all the fundamentals. We can look at everything that's happening within a specific pocket that we're investing in, and then make informed decisions as to what is the best decision for our investing. Coming back, our pockets, every little pocket within New Zealand is performing differently, is showing different strategies that are working, and different growth factors, different time in the market, and it's about understanding your market. Now, as you go through and become an investor, or for some of you, actually on that note, who here already owns property? Who currently owns investment properties? In the chat, that'd be great, just so I understand as well from the discussion as we carry on. Who currently owns, or if you don't, just pop in the chat, not yet, please. Because, well, we're going to show you how you can make sure you do if you are not yet in that game. It'd be lovely to hear. But a part of it as well is what you can create for you and your family. And that there is what we refer to, thanks Nick for jumping in there, that's brilliant. What we refer to is what does wealth actually mean to you? So wealth is in terms of what we are, Wealth Mentor. For me, wealth is obviously much about my family. My parents there, originally from South Africa, and moved over here to create a better life for me and my family, which I'm forever grateful. That's my mum and dad in Queenstown. Just mid last year, first time my mum saw snow falling, and look at her face, the joy in it, and the joy that you can bring through wealth is pretty exceptional. I do love the fact that I can sit here and teach you guys and be able to share the knowledge with you guys, which is really, really cool. Awesome, that's very interesting, Sunil, because that's very common, and I'll talk a little bit about that really shortly. And as well as that, like I said, I do enjoy a bit of sport. That golf there was actually a cool event that we did about a year ago, where we played 4 rounds of golf in one day. That's with my old man and a couple of other guys. We raised some money for cancer, which was really, really cool. Awesome. Now, I'm going to start off with a little bit of an interesting phrase here. And Jen, I can see your comment there. I know that you've been definitely trying to educate yourself, because I've seen you come to a couple of the events recently. And that's great to have you along, and hopefully we can keep that growing and that knowledge coming towards you. But I'm going to share with you guys a bit of an interesting idea here. When you go out there and you purchase your property investments, focus on the concept of the fact that that property will never increase in value. If you approach your investment with the concept of that property not increasing in value, you're making an informed decision based on its position at purchase. Very, very important. So we've got this idea that if you can understand how to assess a property in its current state, that'll mean that you're making an informed decision, not based on what could become. That is what I'm trying to get across to you. Because what could become is a little bit of an unknown. And at the end of the day, what could become is a little bit of a gamble. But in terms of making informed decisions, because I'm also not saying to you just go and buy a property as though it's going to be an increase in value based on good numbers, we also want to look at what is happening in areas, what infrastructure is going in there, what sort of migration, or what are the key drivers in terms of the workforce. But what we need to do is we need to be able to pull this information together, and where we find our information is really, really important, because we want to be getting the right information. Now, I did start off tonight with talking about the fact that the media can sometimes spin things in a way that is going to potentially mislead through headlines. And you only have to jump on and search through Facebook or even Instagram now, or jump on the Herald website stuff, and the number of articles that create this desire for you to click on it and find out more. And then when you actually read the article and jump more into it, it's actually different to what is actually come across from the headline. So be very careful on making informed or emotional decisions on investment based on what you're reading in headlines. Do further research and get to know your area, because you just have a look at what sort of things we see come up in terms of headlines. I've got a couple there. First one, when you put in New Zealand property, this was searched today. Auckland housing developer folds after lender says no. First one. In terms of that, well, you could read into that in a million different ways. I like the second one, meet the young couple who bought 8 properties during the boom, during the what? Not sure. But buying 8 properties, that there is what our clients are able to achieve. That's not one of our clients, but that is what they're able to achieve during a short period of time by following good principles. But buying 8 properties is all very well and good, but are you buying the right types of properties again to support what you're looking to achieve? I'm not knocking them whatsoever. I mean, it's brilliant that they've done that. It's fantastic. But what I'm saying to you guys is making sure that you do understand the knowledge, or I guess the information behind the articles that we are seeing. Because one of the things that is used a lot is median price. You hear that come up a lot. Median price has dropped. Median price has gone up. Median price is this. Median is up 2%. It's down 2%. It's all over the place. Why is it that the median price is so volatile? And what is it that's actually creating that volatility within the median price? To be honest with you, it's the way that the median price is actually generated. So I've pulled this for you guys just so that you can get a clear idea as to how median value is actually established. So if you look at it in terms of a median value, it is essentially just the middle price. It's not necessarily an average in the middle, it's just the middle price. So we have looked at the median house price is the sale price of the middle home in a list of properties range from the high sale to the low sale. So we'll have a look at that example there. The first property sold at 9 million. The last property sold at $600,000, but the median sale price still sits at $719,000. And that is something that you want to be on top of as you start to look at stats within an area. Because how could stats be skewed in terms of median in a particular pocket? And what I want to do is I want to focus a little bit here on an area that probably gets a lot of media hype, but also has a lot of reason to achieve that media hype, and that is West Auckland. West Auckland currently has probably seen the biggest hurt in terms of median value, as well as on the rental side. all the articles that we saw come out around rental properties dropping in value, rental properties sitting vacant, was a lot around that West Auckland area. Now, the reason for that is due to infill. I'm not picking on West Auckland. West Auckland has its place within certain strategies, but the median value was very much affected by infill. What do I mean by infill? Infill is when you take one block of land and you chop it up and sold off into separate dwellings, basically giving you a altered median value. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So you've got one piece of land that is worth and sold for $3 million. So a $3 million section is sold off. That $3 million section has one house in it and is 2,500 squares of land. But you have the ability to chop it down into 300 square meters. That property is then sold off to a developer. And then that developer has on-sold each individual unit. Maybe it's a 2-bedroom. Not sure. This is just an example that I'm sharing with you guys. Has sold each of those for $1 million. What this has done in terms of the median value, you can see how it is drastically going to pull it down when you've got a sale at 3 million and then all of a sudden we've got 8 properties selling at 1 million. The median value will drastically come down. And this is something that we just need to have a look at in terms of your pocket, what is happening. For everybody on this call, I'm sure that many of you are investing in different areas. I know just through a couple of the names that I do know there's a few of you that are investing in different areas. Myself, I invest in 3 different areas, and each one of those has different fundamentals, different pockets, and different things that are happening within it that you need to understand. So it comes back to make sure you know your area. Because at the end of the day, if it is just going off what we're seeing within media and the median rents or median prices, it may not be giving you accurate data for what you really need going forward. We've seen actually Auckland prices, the median sale price in Auckland over the last year on year has dropped 18%, which is quite significant. But I know for a fact that in some pockets of Auckland, prices have not gone anywhere. So again, this is the concept, understand your little pocket. Now, this next slide is the one I'm really excited to be sharing with you guys. And this here is what I believe is the different considerations you need to think about when making your informed decisions about your investment properties or what you're going to do in terms of your investment or purchasing future investment properties. Because there's a bunch of different things that are happening within the New Zealand market that we need to be aware of and need to be working our way through. Let's start off with the big one, emergency housing. Emergency housing is something that the government is putting a substantial amount of money in. The government at the moment in emergency housing is costing New Zealand about $1 million per day. The reason being we have 30,000 people living in hotels and motels. Now, what this tells me and what the key indicator around this concept is that we still have a real housing shortage. We have a massive housing shortage. And the latest stats that I got from one of our team members, one of our mentors, who is sitting on a couple of boards that do report up towards government, has been that the stats are coming in that we're about 115,000 houses short. 115,000 houses short. So the number of properties that we have produced over the last few years has increased substantially. We've seen it with consents up. Then we've hit a little bit of a slow down period. Now, the shortage is also being managed to be able to be minimized slightly. But what we haven't had over the last little while is migration, because we've shut the borders and we've been doing a lot of infill. We're caught up slightly. But at the same time, we still have a real shortage. And a lot of that shortage is actually leading towards the rental side of property. The vacancy rates are currently still sitting at it's just under 1%. So we've got less than 1% of vacancy rates in property in New Zealand. These are a couple of stats, I think, that when you look at it and you look at it logically, we've got a market, yes, that has gone backwards. I'm not denying that values have gone backwards, but we've still got demonstrable demand for both rentals and for home ownership. So we've got rental growth. And what I mean by that is that we've actually seen values of rents rise over the last year. They're up about 4.1%. In terms of, it's actually 4.1% year on year, which is, decent in terms of growth. But the interesting thing is the rent is actually lower than what inflation is. And that's another consideration. We've had rents rise, but have not kept up with inflation. Never mind the fact that we've had a lot more legislation come towards landlords as well, which has probably required many landlords need to put the rent up in terms of being able to sustain the ability to continue renting, because the yields that they've purchased at are not high enough to be able to just let the properties work. So a lot of considerations there when we start to look at the property market. Again, borders are opening now, and bear in mind that we are going to have very delayed statistics. I did look at some today, and we're about 30,000 up to about 110,000 on the last, 110,000 that have come in the last month. So we're starting to see more people coming in. And tell me, what's one thing that you notice at every single cafe that you go to, every single restaurant that you go to, every single supermarket? They need staff. We need workers in New Zealand. We are short of staff. And when they come in, where are they going to live? So this is all the considerations that we need to look at in terms of the market. The last consideration that I'd like you to share with you at this stage, actually it's not the last, there's a few more, what am I saying, is consider that any statistics that you see within the housing market is going to be slightly delayed. That delay is approximately 2 to 3 months. Now, why is there a delay in the information? It's simply because of the timeline of when you purchase a property. If I go out and make an offer on a property tomorrow and it is all accepted, boom, I make an offer, bought, thank you very much. The statistics are not marked at that point because I'm not paying all the money over tomorrow. I've got a settlement in, let's say, 4 weeks, 8 weeks time, maybe 12 weeks, depending if the property is maybe tenanted. So then on settlement, that is when the statistics are starting to be lodged. But the actual transaction has happened 2-3 months before that. So again, a consideration, because what I am starting to think or feel or believe is that when it comes to this month's statistics that will come out, and we haven't seen them come out just yet, is that we'll probably see slightly more positive statistics come through based on the last few sales, or the ones that are settling now, coming through from the October, November period, where we saw a little bit more positivity in the market. The sun started to shine. It went away when Christmas came, but it started to shine for a little bit. Everyone started to feel a little bit more confident, and we saw a bit of activity. So it'll be interesting to see how things go in the next little while. Because then the other consideration is OCR and interest rates. Who saw the news today, or the interesting change that ASB had today within their interest rates? Did anybody catch that one? The chat's been a little bit quiet. I think it's been about 20 minutes. So I had anything. Who here saw what the ASB did with their interest rates today? Anybody out there? Maybe nobody did. The interesting thing, yes, absolutely. Interesting thing is that we've had the longer term interest rates dropping. So then you look at it and you think to yourself, okay, the bank's purpose is to make money. The bank's whole purpose is to create a profit. Well, they're damn good at that. We see it every year, the amount of profit that bank's making. So for them, they may look at their foreseeable future and go, okay, well, if interest rates are likely to drop, how can we ensure that we can increase our profitability over the next few years? Well, let's look to lock people in or entice people to a longer term of interest rates So locking in at a 5-year rate, which is only, I think it was 0.15% higher than the 1-year rate. It was quite fascinating how close it actually was. Quite enticing to jump on that 5-year rate. But then for them, if interest rates drop in the next 6 months to a year, what that is doing is giving them the ability to earn more interest over the time. And then people go, well, actually, I'll break that and go to a different interest rate. Well, then you got your break fees, which is probably just going to be the same amount anyway. So it's not, again, a absolute no-brainer as to this is the decision, but it's an indicator once again. It's a consideration. So when we start to look at all these considerations, we need to then make an informed decision. And like I said before, and like I shared with you earlier, it's hard to actually go, well, the property market's going to increase, the property market's going to go down. But what we do know is that we've had this time period where values have increased over 7 to 10 years, doubling in value. But we also want to be making sure that we're making our informed decision based on the property at its purchase, not hoping for that growth. Now, there's one more very, very fascinating concept that I need you to think about that we have coming up. And it's happening in, I believe, 224 days. And that is an election. What happens leading up to an election usually is everybody kind of sits on their hands and sits back a little bit. But at the same time, we're leading up to an election. We've just had a change of prime minister. Leading up to an election where the current government would like to get in again, that's their goal, obviously. But with a property market going backwards, it doesn't put them in the best position to be looking to go into another term. Now, this is my clause. This is a cynical way to look at it. And I don't want you to quote me and send, what the new guy's name, forget his name now, a message saying this is what John has said, but very much likely that they're going to look at ways, thank you, Chris Hipkins, look at ways that how they can ensure that the property market potentially holds a little bit of its value. Again, cynical side of me coming through, but something I do want to share with you guys. I mentioned the interest rates. Here we go. I've got them for you. So the difference between the 5-year and the 1 year is only, what's that, 0.35, minimal between the two. Fascinating little change that we've seen. It's gone down 0.5, whereas we've seen the 1 year go up 0.3. Fascinating. So I've got a couple of questions, and now I need you to jump in the chat on this one. First one. Right now, we have a situation where you can buy property on a discount. Now, you might go to me, John, why would we buy property when it's going down in value? Answer me this. Have you ever gone to Briscoe's and paid full price? Probably not. So right now, property is on sale. Property is on sale, which creates, yeah, absolutely. Property is on sale, which creates an opportunity. The opportunity to purchase property below market value. I'm going to share a few ideas or a few deals with you really shortly. Opportunity to buy properties below market value. But how long is this opportunity going to be available for you? How long? And once it starts to hit the New Zealand Herald, guess what? Coming back to my details before, we are 3 months too late. And secondly, how long will it be here? And are you prepared for that opportunity? Are you prepared to take the opportunity that's in front in terms of being able to get the most out of this for you and your family and the wealth that you want to create for you and your family and your loved ones? So what's going to give you the ability to be prepared? Your understanding of what's going on in your area. Finance, lending is tough at the moment. There is no doubt about it. Serviceability is the hardest it's been. We're getting, the banks are testing you at 8% plus. So is there other ways that you can do deals? The latest deal that I'm doing, I'm putting 0 of my own money in. You don't need money, you just need knowledge. So if you are able to get the knowledge behind you in order to be able to help to pull together deals, to go down the right strategies that are going to be right for the market, an opportunity right now is in front of us. Very, very important. Understanding finance, joint ventures, and all in the knowledge. Because I've told you that we should buy property as though it should never increase in value. But the fascinating thing about property is that it has increased in value, doubled in value, should I say, every 7 to 10 years. And like I said, we're going to see some new data coming out this month. I'm fascinated to see what is going to come out of this. Fascinated. So how do we decide what strategy is going to be best for you to go forward and create your investments? How best are you going to be able to create the portfolio that suits you? This is a saying that I love. Don't just buy off the plan, have a plan. For some people, very few, for some people, buying off the plan is a viable option and it makes sense for your portfolio, but it needs to make sense for your portfolio. Now, if anybody would like to discuss their current portfolio, I have got a little bit of a QR code there for you guys. Happy to jump on a call and have a little bit of a discussion with you guys in terms of what it is that your portfolio is doing and what you would like to do. Now, one thing I didn't share with you guys earlier is that I will not be selling you a property. I do not sell property. It's not what we do at Wealth Rental. We're all about education. We teach, and that is exactly what it's about for us. So if you'd like to jump on a call, I'll leave that up for just another couple of seconds. Get your phone out, scan that, and jump on and book a call with me. Right, so the current market, what strategies are going to work? What strategies could you be implementing to be able to get yourself the income, the profit, or the wealth that you desire? Here's the 2 strategies that I believe are key right now. Number 1, trading property. And when you're trading property, it has also been very, very clear in understanding who is going to be buying your property. Because right now, homeowners are still in the market, but homeowners are struggling to get lending for any properties that are distressed. By distressed, I'm meaning there's issues with the building report and the properties are not able to get lending because of the issues that potentially could come up for the purchaser. So turning over those distressed properties, making them into a homeowner property. That is currently what I'm implementing within my strategies currently. The second strategy I'd like you to really consider in the current market is buying your high yielding properties with one very, very important ingredient: future development. High yielding properties with future development. Because the high yielding properties in the current market that can either at least cover all your expenses, all your lending, and give you a little bit of income, are the ones that are going to be able to sustain the tougher markets. Make sure you're buying a lot of equity in the buy, so the properties are below value, and giving you the ability to be able to have future development. Now, that's what I believe are currently good strategies to implement. I'm not going to say for each one of you on this call, all 21 of you, that it's the best strategy for you to implement right now, because everybody's journey is going to be slightly different. There's a number of different strategies, and within the strategies, there's even, we call them co-strategies or sub-strategies that you could be implementing as well. So it's a matter of just understanding the best one for you to push forward. Know your area, know your strategy, put the 2 together, and it is a recipe for a delicious cake. Don't know where that came from, but I guess we'll run with it. Now, in terms of the recipe for that cake, seeing as we're running with cake recipes, I don't know where that is coming from. But the key is that we're looking to get the opportunity to create wealth. With that wealth is equity. So in terms of that, being able to follow a very simple principle, which is when you purchase your property, you're looking to purchase the property below its market value. Your property that you purchase might be worth $600,000, but you're buying it for $550,000. That there gives you two things. Gives the ability to make money when you buy a property, so you're creating wealth straight away. But secondly, and probably most importantly, is it gives you security. The market drops another 5%, you are safe. The market drops 10%, the property is back to the value that you purchased it for. It gives you safety nets. And then we add in the number 2 ingredient, which is add perceived value or add value to your property. Okay, when you're able to add value to the property, you are then gaining a property that is now worth 650, 700. That difference is an equity gain. When you are able to successfully implement the ability to buy below value and add value, you are creating a lot more wealth for you and your family than you will earn by going and working your day job. Your hourly rate will look silly compared to the equity that you can create for you. But it is important to understand the values to be able to ensure that you are making the right decisions. Once you've gone through that, you have an opportunity to either revalue, refinance the property, go and buy again, or you sell it, you make a profit. Not a bad option. So comes back to it. Buy properties though it never increases in value. Right, in the chat, who wants to see a deal? Before I share it, I need you to see in the chat who is keen to see the deal. And this first one I'm going to be sharing with you is a multi-income buy and hold property. The buy and hold property, thank you, Jody. This buy and hold property is a multi-income because what this does, it ensures that we are driving more rent compared to the purchase of the property. So if we look at this property that was purchased by one of our students, it was probably about 6 months ago. This property was purchased at $733,000. So we purchased the property with a market value that is higher. We can see that this property did require renovation. So there was $35,000 of reno that went into this property. Then with that in mind, the property was then worth $950,000. Now you might be looking at that and going, John, that's great. $733,000, that there to only make $1,000 per month in cash flow. Now that cash flow is after all expenses. Yes, it's also after encompassing 100% lending. So what that means is that takes into account every single dollar that you borrow, you're paying interest on. You borrow all the money to purchase this property, but you're still able to create a $13,000 profit. That there is a return on investment that is infinite. Not a return on investment of 3-4% if you put your money in the bank. It is infinite. No money in and buy and make $13,000. Never mind the equity uplift. So you might go, okay, well, how do you buy 100%? How does somebody borrow all the money? Well, you need security from another property. If you're in a position where you have equity, this is something you can do. Bear in mind, it doesn't have to be your equity. Just a food for thought. If you want to know more about that, you need to check out one of our masterclasses. But being able to take the ability to use equity in order to be able to purchase a property gives the ability to create wealth out of nothing. Because the ability to create cash flow is really, really important because growth is lovely. I mentioned that property can double in value in 17 years. It's beautiful. But when you can get cash flow and equity creation on your buy and hold portfolio, that is going to create you the wealth that you desire. And what you can then look to do is create a portfolio that can change your life. And that's exactly what Torb did. It is actually one of our students. And I want to share with you his portfolio. He's very forthcoming with his portfolio. It's really cool that he's been able to do this. So Torb started working with us in July 2018 is when he made his first purchase. You can see there that he spent $3.5 million on purchasing property. Now that $3.5 million is not how much cash he put in. It's not how much renos he put in. There's the total. It includes any cash he put in, any renos, and all lending. So his total purchasing was 3.55. I hope that makes sense for everybody in terms of that one. But the value of his portfolio has increased to 6.5. Now I get it. It has been a market where we've seen significant growth, and anyone could have become a property investor, like I said, over the last couple of years. But not many people have been able to create a portfolio that has increased by $3 million and is cash flowing that is after every single expense of $150,000. Torb is retired. He comes over to New Zealand and tells me he does a bit of work on his properties, but I think it's just so that he can come over and fly fish. Fair enough. I don't mind that idea whatsoever. But it is cool to see what somebody can do. But many people will potentially get 2-3 properties and then they end up with something called tapped out. And they aren't able to build a portfolio that has multiple properties. Tapped out because the income doesn't service the ability to purchase more property, doesn't service more debt, so you can't go on to purchase more property. Torb learned all this and started his journey with us in 2018. His first step was one of our masterclasses, and I'd like to share with you guys just quickly, before I share with you some more deals, when our next masterclass is. For any of you that are interested, this here is undoubtedly the best couple of days that you could spend in terms of property investment education. Wealth Mentor has been going for over a decade. It's not just something that fell out in the last boom. We've been educated for well over a decade, and the results are sensational, what we've been able to achieve. So I do have that for you guys, for anybody that is interested, and we'll be sharing with you guys a pretty significant discount code, I must say, with you guys later on tonight for those of you interested. But on that note, who is keen to see some trades? Because trading property is one of the vehicles that, again, is really strong in the current market. There is a lot of distressed sellers. 2 reasons. One, we've had, it's not really swearing, shitty landlords over the last few years that have not looked after their properties and are now not able to get them up to healthy homes. They can't be bothered. And because the properties aren't growing in value, they just want to offload them. So you're able to purchase distressed property in that space, and you're able to look to turn them around for homeowners. Check out this property that Tim has been doing in Timaru. So this property here, Tim purchased at 160. The interesting thing about it, he's got a 160 for his renovation. I know that that's an inflated number that he's thrown on there. He's probably looking at going to be selling it, renovating probably around the 130 mark from numbers, but he is cautious on that renovation. Settlement then in the 12th of the 12th, and post-reno value is expected at $480,000. That's a significant profit on a deal that is not overly large. The cool thing about this property as well is Tim's already getting offers in the mid-200s on this one. He hasn't even started the renovation. Making money in the buy, purchase below value, have the ability to add value, and you can create wealth. Tim's not from Timaru, even though that would be cool considering his name. Tim has actually done this from Melbourne. Our students have the ability to learn how they can invest in areas around them because we have established teams in areas around the country that you can access, that you have the ability to do deals no matter what your price point. If it is that you have the ability to do trades in the $100,000, $200,000 mark financially, brilliant. That might be a space that you can work in. If you're looking to do higher end deals, that is also something. Because everybody's journey is going to be different. Everybody's journey is different. And the fact that you guys are here tonight shows me that you want to learn and grow and be a better investor. So by getting the education, it's going to reduce the risk and it's going to speed up and cut those time frames for you. Like I said, we at Wealth Mentor have been educated for well over a decade, not just fell out in the last boom. And we're here to be able to share with you guys this knowledge. We've been doing it for over 10 years and we continue to. I first attended a Wealth Mentor event about 8 years ago, 7-8 years ago. And now this is the latest deal that I've just purchased. I've done a number of trades in that time, purchased a pretty significant portfolio. This is the latest deal that I've done. And this is one that is currently being renovated. I was out there today. Kitchen was getting dropped off, so I thought I'd head out there and check it out. And Sparky was chucking some lights up. And this deal here is in South Auckland. This was settled on the 16th of December last year. And the reno is just coming towards an end at the moment. You can see there's some before photos. I don't have any after photos at the moment, but they're not far away. Actually, for those of you attending the masterclass, it will be completed and I'll have fully completed photos and listing for you guys by February, which will be really, really cool. Now, this property here has some pretty cool numbers. It's nothing significant, but it's just showing what is current in the market. Because right now, everybody has the ability, has this concept that in Auckland, you can't buy property under $700,000. You can't buy property under $800,000. And if you do, it's a unit. Well, this property here that we've purchased has over 600 square meters of land. So we've got a significant amount of land that is developable. You can actually go and 4 units on that as well if you like. But this property had a CV of 770, but was listed at 669. So on the market at 669. Now, many people would look at that and go, right, 669, they probably want to buy for they probably want 660. We were able to purchase this property at 575. A distressed landlord who needed a quick settlement, who was not obviously brought the property up to standard because it was in a bit of a state in certain spaces, but we were able to purchase it for 575, which is fantastic in Auckland. 600 square meters of land plus. Now, this does require renovation. Like I said, kitchen arrived today. We're spending about 45 grand on the renovation. And we're looking at having this property back on the market on the 1st of February, which is coming up nice and quick. This property here will be back on the market, and we'll be expecting value and offers coming in over 740. That is where the market sits in terms of its value post-renovation, with understanding how you can ensure that the market and the people that are going to be turning up are the right types of people. Thank you so much, Jody. That's really kind. I do want to be able to share with you more details on this, but I don't have the time today, or we don't actually have the renovation completed. So for those of you that will be at the masterclass in February, I will definitely be sharing much more details with you guys. So in terms of that, will you sell a whole property, Jono, or for another day? Great question, because that is one of the strategies as well, Carolyn, definitely for another day. We don't have the time tonight to talk through that, but that's a great strategy. But we will be selling the whole property for sure. I can talk to you some other strategies during the masterclass. Because in terms of that, are we prepared for the opportunity that we have in front of us? Are we educating ourselves? 2 of our clients I spoke to today, one of them did a trade down in Christchurch. They are set to make around $70,000 profit on a deal that was only taken them 2 months in Christchurch. The purchase price was in the late 300s. Again, price points. Another couple of clients that I spoke to are making an offer right now. That offer is in the mid 500s on a property that rents for over $1,200 per week. Again, mid 500s, over $1,200 per week of rent. The numbers are good, but the numbers come from knowing how to make the right decisions in terms of your investment, understanding how to analyze property, understanding the strategy that's going to be best for you. Now, our masterclass is 2 days, and we do have it coming up in February. If those dates are an issue for you, we do have some further dates coming up in the coming months, but there is so much covered in these 2 days. There is literally the most amount of information we can possibly share with you, but in an interactive format. We do it in terms of being able to have conversations. You ask questions constantly during the masterclass. We have the ability to jump into breakout rooms. You have one-on-one sessions with our team as well. We work through many different topics, including strategies that you need to implement in the current market, other strategies, buy and holds, trading. I spend about an hour talking through trading. So that deal that I just showed you that is about 90 grand of profit, I can share with you exactly how you can do that, and many other properties that have done the same thing. Boarding houses, multiple income properties, developments. We got Paul, who's going to talk on developments, who's done over 700 homes over his investing career, negotiations, taxes. Oh, who doesn't love an hour of tax? Now, it might sound just horrible, an hour of tax, but it is a very, very important. If you currently have investment properties, the hour on tax is going to be vital for you making sure that you are set up correctly. Tax rules are constantly changing. We've got Helen, who is part of our mentorship team. She's also an accountant and has a portfolio that is around about $15 million that she has created in the last 5 years. She is a Wealth Mentor student. She'll be there to share with you exactly how you want to be setting yourselves up to make sure that you are getting the success. The team is absolutely sensational. You guys have seen Carol on the call tonight. Carol was there during the masterclass as well. She shares details on social housing, certainly a strategy that you want to be implementing or looking at at creating as part of your portfolio, and it might be for you in terms of creating that cash flow. The different strategies, the different concepts will give you a really solid, well-rounded understanding as to making sure that your investments are going the right way. So we'd love to see you on this masterclass that we're holding in just February. Let me show you exactly who is the team that we have presenting the masterclass. So this is Belinda. Belinda is, again, a student of ours. Every single one of the people that you'll see pop up is a student of Wealth Mentor as well. Belinda's portfolio is sensational, has converted motels into residential accommodation. She's currently looking at a really cool deal. I won't give much more details away, but hopefully going unconditional on the 24th. So that's only a couple of days away. So she'll be going potentially on that deal. So she'll be able to share that on the masterclass. So a lot of active deals happening in the current market. Therese, who is with Queen of Invercargill, owns a lot of properties down there and is also trading down there. Paul Salvey, developer, done over 700 homes, Master Builder Association president. Just some amazing people that we've got there for you guys over the 3 days. This here is Ryan, who, the interesting thing about Ryan is he was a mentor when I was actually going through the Wealth Mentor education. He's been around for a number of years and he presents market conditions. So you have got the views from me, many of them I picked up from Ryan, but he takes it to a whole nother level during the masterclass, which is really cool. There's Carol, beautiful. Helen as well will be joining us as well in terms of taxes. The team is there for you and I will also be there to present during the masterclass. Like I said, we did not just fall out in the last cycle. I do laugh at every time I open Facebook and someone else has decided that they're now going to be able to teach you how to become an investor. Each one of you has a different journey. Each one of you will find a path that is right for you, but let us show you paths that are going to be right and share with you ideas as to how your journey is going to be bespoke for you. Again, a decade's experience in doing this, and we are by all means the most successful educators in New Zealand, and we are very, very proud for everything that we do in terms of the property masterclass. Give those dates again. And I did say that I'm going to be sharing with you guys a very, very great discount code. So what we'll do, there is a QR code there for any of you that are ready to join us on this masterclass. Make sure you listen up because I haven't given you the coupon code yet. Carol, if you wouldn't mind doing me a favor and dropping the link into the chat, that would be fantastic, please, as well, if you've got that handy. Oh, you're brilliant. Thank you so much. Here is everything that we do have included in our 2-day event that we do have coming up. It is a virtual masterclass, so you got the 2 days with us. You get a one-on-one strategy during the actual masterclass. So what that means is we will take a half-an-hour session where everyone will get a time with a mentor to discuss your position and what could be strategies that could be best for you going forward. The value in this is sensational. You will leave with a clear plan that you can implement going forward as to making sure that you can continue to grow your investments. You'll get access to our online resources and the community within Wealth Mentor. You get support from us as a company for a lifetime. We're here to support you guys after the event and make sure that we can continue your growth and see you grow as an investor. A strategy call, and this here is done usually with the wonderful Carol leading into the masterclass, where we talk through exactly what strategies might be best for you and see you guys going into masterclass as best prepared as possible. Now, like I said, we do have a really great offer for you, usually $14.97. It's a bit of a steal, to be fair. Property prices have come down. Why don't we put the price of the masterclasses down as well? I would love to see you guys off. Thank you, Jennifer. That is fantastic. Yes, you did a 10-1 just recently. It was lovely to see you there. Guys, we'd love to have you join us on these 2 days. We're holding in the next ones, like I said, in February. When you head along to the link, make sure that you do use the coupon code DEAL295. That DEAL295 is going to get you the opportunity at $295, which is really, really a great, great opportunity. And it gets even better because we actually do offer you this as a double ticket. So it's not just for you, but you also get to invite a friend as well. That friend doesn't have to be in the same room as you. That friend could be in another link, And if that friend has their wife listening in as well, that's cool. Their husband listening in as well, that's cool. We're more than happy for you to have 2 opportunities to join us at the masterclass. So $295, it really is a fantastic opportunity to jump on. Again, all the inclusions that you get with the masterclass, and that is all for $295. Jennifer, thanks again for that comment. It was really nice to meet you. I think you were at the November one from memory, and it was great to get to know you, and thank you for that. It's really fun. For those of you that are going across and getting a bit stuck, it's really important that you put the coupon code in the right place. So let me share with you exactly how to do it. So when you head across the link, you're going to come to a page that looks like this, and you can see on here it says price to what, $14.97. Thanks, Claudia. And then if you scroll on down, just underneath where it says password strength, there is a little thing there that says have a coupon. Make sure you click on that one right there. Once you click on that, you then put in the coupon code deal 295, look like this, and that'll ensure that you're able to get your spot on the masterclass for only $295. So the key takeaways out of today, the key takeaways. Establish a strategy that works for you to get you to where you want to get to in terms of your investments. Your strategy is not going to be the same as the person on Facebook, as your cousin, as your uncle, or as the person at the barbecue who thinks they know everything about property. Your strategy is going to be very much independent to you. And secondly, the area that you invest in is going to be specific to you as well. Know your area. The area that I invest in will be different, and I understand it in terms of values, in terms of target markets, in terms of rental demand. All those fundamentals, infrastructure, give me the security in knowing that my area is going to be giving me the best return possible for the wealth and the future of me and my family. Because we don't know what's going to happen in the market. It could go down, could go up, or it could stay the same. New Zealand is a massively desirable place to live. People want to live here. We've got an election coming up. We've got a massive demand for property currently. We're about 115,000 houses short, and there's 30,000 people living in emergency housing. As investors, we have an opportunity not only to solve the issue of a housing shortage, but also enjoy some profit along the way as we create the wealth. It's been really great to have you all on tonight. Guys, it's time to act right now and get yourself a spot and join us at the masterclass. If you have any questions, I'm happy to hang around at the end of tonight and answer any of those questions, but it's time to decide, because for $295, you're going to get the knowledge, you're going to be able to get the education to make sure that you're making informed decisions and that your portfolio grows. Because your options right now are very simple. You do nothing, you keep doing what you've always done, or we take action. We invest in yourself and you grow. The time is now. Link is in the chat. Thank you so much. At the end of this, I'll make sure that I hang around and answer any questions. It's been great to get to know you guys. Have a fantastic long weekends of February that's coming up. And I cannot wait to see you in February at the Property Masterclass. Stay awesome, everybody. Good night.